Throughout history, there's been numerous amounts of infamous people who have left their dark print on this world. Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Reinhard Heydrich, Saddam Hussein, Kim Il-sung, Osama bin Laden, and so on. But here are 5 scientists who have also left their sinister prints on this world. Dr. Henry Cotton. Dr. Henry Cotton believed that localized infections were the root causes of insanity. After he became the head of an insane asylum in Trenton in 1907, he began implementing a procedure he dubbed surgical bacteriology. During that time, Cotton and his team performed thousands of surgical operations on patients, often without their consent. First, they extracted teeth. They would then go deeper and remove internal organs, which they believed were causing the problems. He believed in his methods so much that he even performed them on himself and his family. He extracted teeth from himself, his wife, and his 2 sons, one of whom also had part of his colon removed. Cotton claimed that his treatments had a high rate of curing patients. In one instance, he justified the deaths of 49 patients from the colectomies and stated that they were already suffering from end-stage psychosis. An independent investigation later revealed that Cotton greatly exaggerated the results. After his death in 1933, the surgeries at the asylum ceased, and Cotton's viewpoints faded into obscurity. To his credit, critics ruled that he really was sincere in his efforts to cure his patients, in an insane, deluded way. J. Marion Sims. J. Marion Sims conducted an extensive surgical study on several female African American slaves during the 1840s. The study, which spanned 3 years, focused on a surgical cure for vesicovaginal fistula, a condition that abnormally connects the bladder to the vagina. He performed all the studies without anesthesia. One subject, a woman named Anarcha, endured a whopping 30 operations before Sims finally got it right. This wasn't the only horrifying study that Sims performed. He also tried to cure the infants of slaves suffering from trismus, a condition similar to lockjaw, using a shoemaker's awl to pry their cranial bones into alignment. Dr. Walter Jones. In what could more accurately be described as torture rather than treatment, Dr. Walter Jones recommended boiling water as a cure for pneumonia during the 1840s. He tested his treatment on numerous slaves afflicted with the disease over the course of several months. Jones described in great detail how one patient, a sickly 25-year-old man, was stripped naked and made to lie down on the ground on his stomach. At this point, Jones poured 5 gallons of boiling water over the patient's back. However, that wasn't the end for the poor man's suffering. Jones stated that the treatment should be repeated every 4 hours, which he rationalized would be sufficient for re-establishing the capillary circulation. Jones later claimed that his treatment cured many patients, an assertion that was never independently verified. Loreta Bender. As psychiatrist of the Bellevue Hospital during the 1940s, Bender administered daily shocks to 98 pediatric patients in an effort to cure them from a condition she coined childhood schizophrenia. She reported that the shocks were hugely successful and that only a small number of children went into relapse. As if the shock treatment wasn't enough, Bender also gave children adult-sized doses of mind-bending drugs such as LSD, often for weeks at a time. And while it was never officially proven, there have been allegations that she got her funds from the notorious CIA program, MKUltra. Albert Klingman. Dermatologist Albert Klingman ran a very comprehensive experimental program on the inmates of Holmesburg Prison during the 1960s. In one such experiment, the US Army sponsored a study that focused on finding ways to harden the skin. Theoretically, the hardened skin could protect the soldiers from chemical irritants while in combat zones. Klingman applied various chemical-filled creams to the inmates, but the only noticeable outcome was permanent scarring and a good deal of pain. Pharmaceutical companies also paid Klingman to use his prisoners as guinea pigs to test their products. While the subjects were paid to participate, they were not fully informed of the experiment's objectives and the potentially adverse effects. Needless to say, Klingman displayed ruthless mechanical efficiency when dealing with the inmates. In fact, after he arrived at the prison for the first time, he remarked that all I saw before me were acres of skin. Eventually, public uproar and a subsequent investigation forced Klingman to shut down his operations. Sadly, the former test subjects were never compensated, while Klingman later became rich by inventing Retin A drug choice against acne. Sometimes life just doesn't play fair.